2 divisions cranium face. The skull. 2 divisions. Cranium. Face. Most complex bony structure. 22 bones in all. Mostly flat bones, but not all. Cranial bones, 8 Friday find and describe. 1. Frontal bone. 2. Occipital bone. 3. Sphenoid bone. 4. Ethmoid bone. 5. Parietal bones. 2. 6. Temporal bones. 2. Functions of cranial bones. Enclose and protect the brain. Attachment sites for head and neck muscles. Functions of facial bones. 1. Form framework of face. 2. Contain cavities for special sense organs. 3. Openings for food/air passage. 4. Secure the teeth. 5. Anchor the facial muscles of expression. All bones of the skull are firmly locked in place by joints called sutures. 4 major sutures. The cranium, 8, 1 frontal bone, 2 parietal bones, 2 temporal bones. 1 occipital bone. 1 sphenoid bone. 1 ethmoid bone. The frontal bone. Parietal bones form most of the superior and lateral aspects of the skull. Figure 7.3a. Parietal bones. Curved, rectangular bones forming majority of the cranium. All 4 major sutures are articulate with this bone. Look up the 4 major sutures of the skull. Parietal bones and major associated sutures. 4 sutures mark the articulations of the parietal bones. Coronal suture, articulation between parietal bones and frontal bone anteriorly. Sagittal suture, where right and left parietal bones meet superiorly. Lambdoid suture, where parietal bones meet the occipital bone posteriorly. Squamosal or squamous suture, where parietal and temporal bones meet. Occipital bone and its major markings. Forms most of skull's posterior wall and base. Major markings include the posterior cranial fossa, foramen magnum, occipital condyles, and the hypoglossal canal. Figure 7.2b. Temporal bones, lateral sides of the skull. Zygomatic process connects with zygomatic arch. External auditory meatus, external ear. Styloid process, muscle attachment for tongue and neck. Mastoid process, neck muscles. Temporal bones. Figure 7.5. Sphenoid bone spans width of middle cranial fossa. Articulates with all other cranial bones. 3 parts greater wing, lesser wing and pterygoid processes. Cellulosical enclosure for pituitary gland. Ethmoid bone complex-shaped nasal cavity and orbital cavity. Cribriform plate roof of the nasal cavity. Cristagalli outermost covering of the brain cover connects here. Maxillary bones. Medially fused bones that make up the upper jaw and the central portion of the facial skeleton. Facial keystone bones that articulate with all other facial bones except the mandible. Their major markings include palatine, frontal, and zygomatic processes, the alveolar margins, inferior orbital fissure, and the maxillary sinuses.